to The Blotcha Show. My name is Chris. I'm your host, and you are listening to this week's episode of Storytime Friday.
Today's story is called The Forgotten. Sarah woke up suddenly and looked around where she was. She realized that she was laying in a hospital bed, but had no idea how she got there. She didn't even know what day it was. She realized very quickly she didn't even know, she had no memory of what her name even was. She wondered how she got where she, wondered how she got where she currently was, and wondered what even happened. And when she moved, she tried to shift a little bit in bed, and a very sharp pain shot up her entire body. Ow! She screamed out loud. Nurses came running in the room. Are you okay? What? She stammered. The nurse put her hand on her head. My God, you're burning up. Give her a milligram of painkiller. Let's get see, and another milligram of Tylenol so we could try to bring her fever down. Right away, nurse. The nurse's aide said as she ran over and injected a vial of clear medication into Sarah's IV. Sarah felt her eyes flutter a little bit as she sank back into the bed. She looked over at the nurse with her dazed eyes. What did you give me? Just a mild, some mild painkillers, a little bit of a sedative to kind of calm you a little bit, because I know that you're in a lot of pain, and I know that you're very confused, and like, are you like, what were you? Why did you scream? Well, like, did I have a nightmare? Well, no, Sarah said. I don't know. Like, where am I? You're in the hospital, the nurse said. Oh, I know that. I can recognize what a hospital looks like, but where the hell am I though? Like, why am I in the hospital? What happened? Ma'am, I need you to calm down. I need you to take a few breaths. Everything's gonna be fine. Like, you've been in the hospital for a couple of days now. And the nurse trailed off for a few seconds. And what? Sarah said. Well, I mean, you were in pretty bad shape when we brought you in. But when we tried to talk to you when you came in, you couldn't really answer any of our questions, the nurse said. Sarah sighed and looked away. Do you still, like, have any of your memories come back? Do they, like, do you know what happened to you? Sarah sighed again. No, I have no idea. I don't even... Well, what's the last thing you remember, the nurse said. Honestly, the last thing I remember, Sarah said as she kind of looked away again. I just remember waking up here. Like, before that, I have nothing. It's like, I don't know where I came from. I don't even know what my name is. Well, you know what it says here in your chart that when they brought you in, they actually, you did have an ID on you, and it had your picture, and it said your name was Sarah Barnes. Oh, well, I guess if that's what it says my name is, I guess it must be true, but I honestly can't. That doesn't sound familiar to me at all. It sounds like a stranger's name, honestly. Sarah said as she looked away again. I know, ma'am. I know. Everything will be okay. The nurse said. But the there's something that I have to tell you. We have some federal agents outside. They really need to talk to you. To me? Why? Sarah said. Well, because they said that you're a part of a case that they're working on, that they're trying to solve, and that you're the only one that would, you know, be able to shed some light on it. How though? Sarah said. Well, I mean, they said what that they think they know what happened to you, and they, you know, there are other people involved, but they can't prove it, and that only somebody who's there could actually help them bring those people to justice. They said that they think that you were there, but that you got in the middle of something, and that's what happened to you. That you know, you got caught in the crossfire, so to speak. But I wasn't shot, Sarah said. I know, no, you weren't. You weren't shot, but whatever you got in the middle of, somebody or multiple people got really upset about how you being involved or something, and obviously like you took one major beating. I mean, Sarah, you're lucky to be alive. What do you mean? Sarah said. Well, you know, you took such a beating that you were when we first brought you in, you were awake for a minute, and we tried to ask you some questions, and as soon as you basically said you didn't know, and you got really upset because you were in like a lot of pain, they, you know, you slipped into a coma. Like you just literally went unconscious, and you were out for probably a good almost 36 hours with no signs that you were actually going to wake back up. We didn't know what to do. So, I mean, do you remember anything at all? I mean, you said you don't. The last thing you remember is waking up here, right? Uh huh. Sarah said. Okay. Well, are you okay if I let the federal agents come in here and talk to you really quick? I don't know how much help I'm going to be, Sarah said. It's fine. You know that they just want to talk to you. They figure any detail you can. They said any detail that you can remember could be helpful to the case. Okay, all right, go ahead. I'll talk to him, Sarah said. All right. The nurse said as she turned and walked over to the door. Gentlemen, it's okay. You can come in. At that moment, two young men wearing black suits, carrying briefcases, came walking into the hospital room. All right, gentlemen, this is Sarah Barnes. I still need to warn you, she doesn't remember. She really doesn't remember anything at the moment. She doesn't even know who she is. I mean, she knows who she is, but she doesn't remember that that's who she is. So, I mean, you guys can ask her questions, but I don't know how much help or how much assistance is going to help for your case. But all right, ma'am, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, ma'am, thank you. Both agents said. The nurse left the room, and the two agents approached the side of Sarah's hospital bed. Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is John, Agent John Stratford. This is my partner, Agent Harry Stockham. Sarah said, is it okay if I just call you Agent J and Agent H? Because I won't remember your names, probably. Yeah, it's fine, man. That's fine. Agent H said. All right, Agent J said. So he pulled out a pen and paper. So, let's start from the beginning. Like what happened? Do you know what happened to you before you came to the hospital? Sarah sighed, looked away again. Agent J laid a hand on her shoulder. Ma'am, it's totally okay if you don't remember. I mean, we understand. You know, it's totally cool. Please don't. We don't want you to overdo it. Just anything you can remember would be helpful. Well, the truth is, Sarah said, I don't really remember anything. I just remember literally waking up here, Sarah said. Okay, ma'am. Okay. I mean, are are there any flashbacks? Are you having any dreams of anything weird that don't make sense to you? Agent H said. What do you mean? Sarah said, looking over. Agent J looked over at Agent H with kind of a puzzled look. Agent H continued. Well, it's just sometimes, like when we experience trauma, Agent H began. Sometimes, like, even though we might not be able to pull forward the conscious memories at that moment, they're still there. It's just we've, like, in cases like yours where you experienced, I hate to say it, man, and I'm really sorry to put it this way, but one hell of a beating. It could, like, sadly, that like your brain is probably a little bit swollen, and so of course that affects your memory, both short term and long term, and so that's why you don't remember your name, you don't remember what happened to you before, you only remember being here in this hospital. So since you've woken up, have you been able to remember your dreams since you've been here in the hospital? Sarah was like, huh, she said, looking away. Honestly, Agent, yeah, I mean, I've had some weird dreams, I guess, but I didn't think anything of it. Okay, could you tell us about those? Agent H said. Hold on a second, Agent J said. Can I speak to you a second over there, partner? Sure, hold on. Okay, be right back, Sarah. They went over to the corner of the room. What are you getting at, Agent J said. What do you mean, Agent H said? Well, like, why are you asking her about dreams? What the hell does that have to do with the case? Well, just you know, it's just a theory I'm working on. A theory, Agent J said, looking at his partner with a puzzled look. What kind of theory are you working on and what could it have to do with the case? How could this be helpful? Well, partner, just, bear with me, because, like, she's not remembering anything, but sometimes, even though those memories aren't being able to be pulled to the front, they're still in there. And so she might be having dreams about what happened and not realizing that that's what it is. Huh, really, Agent J said. Like, how did you fit, like, what brought this on? Like, what made you think about this approach? Agent H kind of laughed. Well, I knew somebody that experienced, and honestly, partner, I can't, for some reason, I'm tired, so I don't know, I can't think of the word off the top of my head, but experienced basically where somebody had amnesia. That's what I'm thinking of, partner. Partner laughed and said amnesia. Well, they experienced amnesia, and they couldn't consciously remember something, but then they were dreaming about it, and they didn't realize it until they were like, somebody that knew what happened heard the patient talking about their dreams. They said that's actually what happened before, and Agent J was like, really? Okay. Well, then I guess if it's something that's been done before, and then I guess we should give it a try. All right. So they walk back to Sarah's bedside. All right, Sarah. So Agent H said, why don't you tell us about your dreams? Like, have you had any dreams that stood out to you that made you feel weird, confused you, something that you maybe thought after you woke up, why did I even have that kind of dream? Sarah goes, well, now that you mention it, I had a dream that I was walking outside, just walking down the street. I mean, yeah, pretty much I was out walking. Okay, Agent 8 said. Was there anything about this walk that stood out to you? Like, did you see anything? Did you hear anything? Sarah looked away for a second, thinking to herself. Well, she said, she shuddered, covered her face with her hands, and sobbed. Agent J looked over at Agent H. Are you sure this is a good idea, partner? Just give me a second. Just give it time. It'll be fine. He said. Sarah, if it's too much for you, you don't have to talk about this. No, it's fine, Sarah said. It's just in the dream. It was so realistic. Um, I was walking down the street and I saw a bright flash of light, just around the corner, and it wasn't like any kind of light I normally would have seen. And I don't think it's kind of like any light you would classify as normal. Okay, what do you mean, Sarah? What do you mean, like, you would classify it as normal? Well, Agent, just kind of cringed and looked away again. It was basically, it was a bright blue flash of light. Like what, like a regular blue, or was there something different about it? Agent H said. Well, it wasn't regular blue. It was kind of like neon, like a baby blue, only with a different shade to it. It's just really weird. And but that's not the weirdest part, Sarah. Agent H said, "All right, what was the weirdest part? What made this light weird?" Well, it's the thing. It flashed in a way that it made it kind of seem that. She stopped, looked away again. Agent H put his hand on his shoulder. It's okay. Just take a deep breath and tell us what you remember. Okay. Well, it was like, you ever see any of those sci-fi movies where you see like a bright, like a kind of like random, what looks like an explosion, but the light isn't normal. Like it's not like a orange glow like what you'd see from a fire, but it's more like a blue or green or something that just radiates to the sky. I think I've seen a few movies that had that kind of effect. You think that's what you saw? The agent said. Yeah, pretty much. But the thing is, it came like it illuminated this entire alleyway that I was coming up towards. Like the whole, it just was like it was like I didn't even hear a sound. It was just like big old bright flash of light, bright blue, blue particles that flew everywhere, and it was the alleyway was at least 10 feet from me. I wasn't even in there yet, and it stopped me dead in my tracks. And when I peeked around the corner, it was like all of a sudden I started seeing figures running out from inside that alleyway, and there were bright flashing lights as if they were shooting at each other. But it wasn't regular weapons. What? The agent said, looking over at the other agent. Like, okay, okay, I'm confused. Agent A said. So they're shooting at each other, but you don't think they're using regular weapons? Yes, Agent, that's correct. Sarah said as she looked down. Agent J was like, "Are you sure that you want to keep going, partner?" Yeah, let's go. It's fine. It'll be good. All right, Sarah. Agent H said. So let's just keep going. So what else did you see in that alleyway that was weird? Well, I saw something literally fly past me out of the alleyway, and Agent H held up a hand really quick. When you say flew past you, do you mean it ran really fast, or do you mean something quite literally flew past you? I mean it flew past me. Like there was no. I saw legs, but the legs weren't. Oh, you're gonna think I'm nuts, Sarah said, looking at me. Agent H put her hand back on her shoulder. No, it's fine. Like nothing you say. Nothing you say is crazy. Just tell us what you saw. Well, Sarah said, I saw legs, but they weren't on the ground. And I don't understand, like, how is that even possible? She said. Well, ma'am, it's a dream, so anything in your dream could happen. Like, anything can happen in our dreams. But this might this might not have anything to do with what happened to you before you got, before you ended up in the hospital. This might just be a dream, but but we like to basically just cover all bases. So just keep going. Just what happened next? Okay, well this thing flew past me that looked like a person, but at the same time it didn't. Okay, Agent 8, what do you mean? How did it not look like a person? Well, I mean, I saw legs, but like I couldn't really see the body clearly because it was like the whole body was like illuminated, like it glowed. Okay, like did it glow the same color that like you saw flash from the alleyway when you're walking up? No, this being that I saw, Saracen, it was glowing green, but it looked like, from what I could see, it looked like it could be a normal person inside this green glow, and I, but there's like surrounded by this neon green light, like not like a regular green, but like almost like I don't even know how to explain it, Saracen. All right, just tell us, just take it slow, Agent 8 said. Just tell us what you can about him. Like, did it look like a guy? Did it look like a girl? Or can you not tell? Honestly, I couldn't tell, Sarah said. I just looked like a person that looked like kind of like could be human, but was surrounded by this neon green light and flashed out of the alleyway. Okay, what happened after they flashed out of the alleyway? Did you see where they went? No, it's like they flashed out of the alleyway and then they just, I tried to watch them, but as soon as they were out of the alleyway, it's almost like they were gone so fast that I didn't even see where they went. 1 minute they were there, and then they flew past me in the entryway to the alleyway, and they left. But then some other stuff started happening too. Okay, what happened? What happened? Agent 8 said. Well, as soon as they flashed by me, there was some loud bangs, like a couple loud bangs, and it kind of reminded me of like a gun, but it was much louder than that. And I just couldn't get, like, I couldn't really tell you what kind of weapon it was because it didn't sound like anything I'd heard before. Well, okay, what did it sound like? You try to mimic it? Well, it kind of was like, boom, boom. Whoa, is that really what it sounded like? Sarah kind of looked away for a second. I mean, it's kind of what it sounded like boom, but with like a whoosh, and so it was very, very intense. Like, I jumped, I actually fell, I backed up and I tripped and I fell and landed on my back or whatever. It hit my head, but Agent H looked over at Agent J, then back at Sarah. Do you think that might be what caused your memory loss? You hit your head? Sarah goes, so you think that really happened to me? Agent H says, well, not necessarily. I'm just wondering because like you said, you hit your head in the dream. Wonder if that could be, or maybe something happened, and now your dreams are filling in other details that aren't exactly what really happened. There's no way to really tell. So, okay, so what happened next? Like, was that after that point? Would you say that was before you woke up in the hospital, or was there more to the dream? No, there's more. As far as I remember in the dream, I got back up. My head hurt so hard at that point. And I tried to peek down the alleyway, and basically I heard 3 more booms, like, vroom, vroom, vroom. Whoa. Agent H kind of jumped back a minute. Like, man, you really know how to make your sound effects. Well, when I heard that, I heard 3 very loud. This is something weird, Agent. Like, I don't know how. Like, I feel kind of weird describing this. Okay, just take your time, Agent 8 said. Well, when I heard these three, what sounded like weird sounding shots, I heard three loud impacts, I guess would be the right word. As if like the wall right next to me at the entryway to the alleyway had gotten hit by something, almost like somebody shot at me but hit the wall. But it sounded weird. Agent H looked over his partner and then looked back at her. What did it sound like? How did it? Like, how was it? Like, so it wasn't like what you normal if like a rock or a bullet or something hits a brick wall. It didn't sound like that. Sarah was like, no, not at all. Like, it's weird. It was like, it was almost like I heard the room, and then I heard plop, 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 almost like something splatted on the wall. But when I heard that, huge chunks of the wall next to me actually like fell to the ground as if it got hit by like a cannonball or something. What? Oh, that's weird. Okay. Are you getting this, Agent J? Agent J looked up from his notepad with his pen. Yep, getting every word. Okay, so what happened next, Sarah? Well, like that scared me, and I took off running. And okay, wait. So you took off running, Agent H. Now, which way did you take off running? Did you turn back around and head the direction you came, or did you head? Like which way did you run? Well, I actually ran away from the direction straight out of the alleyway. I took off and headed basically as if I had run out of the alleyway. Okay, so what happened next? Well, I mean, next thing I remember, I probably get about 15, 20 feet, and I heard, ruff! And then I hear, and basically felt the pain in my head. Next thing I know, I wake up and get here. Huh. Okay. So, hey, did you have? So the nurses said that you did have quite a few injuries when you came in. Was there an injury to the back of your head? Sarah looked away and said, I don't know. Like, I know I've had quite a headache the whole time I've been here, and I haven't been able to remember anything. Aside from your dreams, anyway, right? Agent H said, yes, that's correct. So that's pretty much all I remember from that dream, and I don't know if it means anything. Like, what do you think it means, Agent H? Agent H like, well, I mean, like, from what I'm looking at your record here, it does say that you have a really big welt on the back of your head, and it looks like the way they wrote it down is like blunt force trauma, and that you got hit with something hard. It doesn't say out here what type of material they think you got hit with, but they said they said most likely something metal, but like a big metal ball or like something wooden, but they said probably metal because of the extent of the damage to the back of your head. Like it looks like your skull suffered a little bit of a fracture back there. That's why they got, they're keeping you pretty good on pain meds just to kind of, help take the edge off a little bit. But don't worry, that's why we're here. We're trying to figure out what happened because like we're kind of working on a case ourselves, like, and we think that you might have actually got tangled up in it. What do you mean? Sarah said. Well, we've had some very weird experiences, and we've actually had some reports of, you could say, fights happening, but it's fights of kind of a supernatural nature, and like some of the things you're describing kind of actually line up with some of the reports at the beginning. Like they've seen bright flashes of blue light. They see some. Actually, the reports we've got, there's multiple beings that look like people but have a green light surrounding them. And then there's some beings that have like a dark red light surrounding them. And that they're hearing these booms as if there's some kind of shots being fired, and hearing the same or similar sounds that you're describing in your dream, as far as the way I would say gunshots, but we don't know if they're guns. But for all intents and purposes, or let's just say gunshots, the way that they're sounding is basically the way you are kind of describing the sounds you're hearing in your dream. Sarah looked away and said, "Oh, okay, so you're saying that maybe my dream was not a dream, that maybe it was what happened, and then I got hit with something in the back of my head?" That's correct, babe. That's correct. So basically, but the weird thing is like you suffered a lot more injuries than just the back of your head. Like you got a swollen eye. One of your legs is badly bruised, and the doctors actually said that they were surprised it wasn't broken because of how bruised your leg is if somebody sat there and basically just kicked you their leg over and over again while you're down. Not to mention, you got that cut on your eye, you got a cracked rib. It's like somebody or something really went to town on it almost looks like they were trying to teach you a lesson or something. Teach me a lesson for what? Sarah said. Well, Sarah, I honestly don't know. Like, that's what we're trying to figure out. And if we could, that's why we're asking these questions. So if you can just, whatever you can remember. Well, that's it. Like, after I got hit with something in the back of my head, like, I don't remember anything after that except for waking up here. And I'm having these dreams. I thought they were just dreams. I didn't think there could be anything to them, but I just thought it was weird. Well, sometimes, like I said earlier, like sometimes even when we can't remember something consciously, when we're unconscious, our brains end up we end up dreaming about this stuff. It's our brain's way of trying to help us to pull that memory into the forefront. So after you got hit in the head, you don't remember anything else, right? No, sir, I don't remember anything. Did you hear anything? Like, no matter how, like, no detail is too small. Just, whatever you might remember. Oh no, I mean, it's weird. I heard a growl. It sounded like somebody said, "I'm coming for you." What? Are you sure they said that? That's what they said. I'm coming for you. Yeah, it literally sounded like that, but I didn't sound like a human could make that voice. That's why I attributed it to a dream. Okay, all right. So let me hold on a second. Agent H reached over and took the notepad from Agent J, took down a couple notes, handed it back to Agent J. Agent J read what he wrote and then looked up at him. Really? Yeah, Agent J said. Or Agent H said. Okay, Agent J. So, he looked over at Sarah and then looked back at his partner. Sarah was looking at Agent H and then looked over at Agent J, raised one eyebrow, and then looked back at Agent H again. What's going on? She said. Agent H just looked over at Agent J and just kind of, we might as well, I think we should tell her. Agent J nodded, yeah, probably. I mean, she's either that or she's going to freak out even more if she dreams any further details about the situation. Dreams? Okay, what? Guys, please tell me what's going on, Sarah said. Well, Sarah, we think that you might have stumbled upon a kind of like, it's almost like there's a kind of a supernatural war that kind of bled into our reality and stuff. And anytime, and you're not the first one to do it, and anybody else that has has had anything to do with it, they ended up waking up in the hospital pretty badly beaten up, just like you. What? That's crazy, Saracen. Yeah, but see, every time the closest we could get to trying to solve it was these other individuals, because it's not the first time this has happened, and so there's like not the same groups each time that are fighting or whatever. We don't know exactly why they end up here. We don't, but there's like certain people that end up in the crossfire, and for whatever reason, these people that can actually interact with these groups that are fighting from another realm, they end up, they have the power to actually send them back where they belong, and these other beings that are fighting, they realize each time that this happened, they realize that this person has some power over them, and they not only they've all been when they take off running, they all got hit in the back of the head with something, and then they basically were beaten and woke up in the hospital and forgotten stuff. When apparently there's, it's almost like they have a code word that somehow these people know in their subconscious, but they're beaten so badly that they're like they lose all their memory, like everything. And so far we've not been able to get that little code word or phrase or whatever it is that literally is like a magic code word that just closes the portal, sends these beings back to where they came from, and actually like makes everybody safer here, because we don't want like that thing. Like Sarah's like, wait a minute. So you're saying that like there's some kind of war from another realm that's crossing over into our realm, and so then there's like certain ones of us that actually like we'd have like a code word or a phrase that we know. Like, how do we even know that code word or phrase? Agent H shrugged. I have no idea. Like, dude, that's what we've been able to gather through our research and through our investigation and stuff, is that somehow, whether it's something you guys are born with, but somehow there's when this happens, there's certain people that have like a phrase embedded in their memory that they don't realize that they have it, and all they have to do is like when they're in the vicinity of these beings fighting, and they say this code word or this phrase, like, and it's weird phrases too. Like, it could be, well, we assume it's weird phrases because these are beings from our reality, so it's probably not going to be English terms. So for let's say for just pretend purposes, let's say that the code phrase is Vebschnucht, and somehow these people might subconsciously know this code word, but they don't realize they know it, if that makes sense. Agent 8 said. Sarah's like, no, not really. Like, how, like, if that, let's say the Vebschnucht was the code word, how would somebody even know that was the code word? Because maybe they're just thinking I'm just making up some weird phrase or something. Sarah said. Yeah, I could see how you think that, Agent 8 said. But I'm telling you, like, that's basically because we've come across ancient scrolls that were like, they're hundreds of years old, and that the last time that stuff like this happened, these scrolls say that that's basically how the people from back then got rid of these beings. They knew these random phrases, and they did say that it was unique stuff that like language that had never been heard before, and whatever. They said that that's basically what happened. That these people back then, they witnessed these people randomly say something similar to that, like the Vebschnucht or Schnucketyson. We're guessing, of course, because the the way these ancient texts are written, we're basically having to try to translate them as best as we can, and it's hard to translate stuff if it's not in a known language. But we just basically throw it through a computer and, you know, try to come up with all possible scenarios. That's basically the best that we've got right now, is that there's random, you know, these people from back then would randomly say in the middle of these battles, these wars that were going on, randomly say this code word or code phrase, and all of a sudden it's almost like that bright blue flash of light, like what you described in the alleyway, and then everything, all those beings, all those creatures, whatever that were fighting, are all of a sudden just gone. Huh, that's really weird, Sarah said. So, like, I just don't know how I'd be of any help, because other than that, what happened in the dream, I don't remember anything else. Like, I have no phrase or code word. So I don't know what you want from me. I don't know how much help I can be. Well, man, just, you know, how about me and Agent H, or me and Agent J, how about we you know, go ahead and leave it to him tonight. And we'll come back tomorrow. We'll let you get some sleep and stuff. So he handed her a notepad and a pen. What's this for, Sarah said. Well, Agent H said, if you remember anything or your dream tonight, here's what I want you to do. I want you to, like, write down once you wake up. I want you to write down every detail of your dream, no matter how weird it might be or how insignificant. If you don't think that, if you don't think that that it's important, still write it down, because we want to know everything. Okay, Sarah said. I guess, like. So Agent H and Agent J stood up and walked over to the door. Agent H looked back at Sarah. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon. Just try to take it easy. Just try to relax and, you know, get some sleep. And, you know, if you remember anything, or if you remember anything, or if you dream anything that just jumps out at you, it's really weird, just write it down. Write down any details you can remember, because, you know, hey, they always say it's all in the details. So just, you know, whatever you dream of, whatever you think. Okay, I'll do my best, Sarah said. That sounds great. Have a good night, ma'am, and we'll see you tomorrow, Agent J said as they both walked out the door. The nurse came back in and came over, put her arm on Sarah's shoulder. Are you okay? Sarah shrugged. Not really. I don't even know what that was. That was kind of a weird conversation, but yeah, I'd ask what it was about, but I figure they're government agents, so I probably not at liberty to say, I guess. Sarah shrugged. Yeah, probably not. So I probably shouldn't, because I don't want to get you in trouble or whatever, knowing what you shouldn't know. Leonard shrugged. Makes sense. So, can I get you anything? Sarah looked over and was, can I get something to eat? I'm like starving. Of course, we have chicken and potatoes, or we have pot roast options for dinner tonight. Huh. I'll do the pot roast, Sarah said. Okay, coming right up, the nurse said as she disappeared out the doorway. Sarah closed her eyes and tried to think on the dream. Yeah, it was so bright in that alleyway. How many shots? How many of those shots or those booms did I hear before some of the pieces of the wall fell on the ground? There's 3, right? Huh. But I've never heard a gunshot that sounded like a splat though. That was weird. So, she kept trying to think when she was startled by the door all of a sudden opening again. I'm sorry, the nurse said as she came in and carrying a tray. We really got to get you on something to help you with those nerves, the nurse said. I'm fine, Sarah said as she, looked over at her. What? So, is that my pot roast? Yes, ma'am, she said, handing her the tray. Oh my God, it looks so delicious. Sarah grabbed a spoon and started eating. Well, if you need anything else, just hit that page button, and I'll be right back. Before you go, can I have like, is it possible to have any kind of like juice or something? Because like I've been having water for the past couple days, and I'm really craving something sweet right now. Of course. What kind? Apple or yeah, apple's fine. Sarah said. All right, apple it is. I'll be right back. The nurse said that she disappeared out of the doorway again. Again, Sarah closed her eyes and started thinking. She heard footsteps coming down the hall again as she opened her eyes, looked over at the door. Right as the nurse came back in with a tall glass of apple juice. Oh my God, thank you, Sarah said. Of course, the nurse said. Is there anything else I can get you? No, I think that'll be it. Thank you so much. Alrighty, so here's your pager button. Page me if you need me. Otherwise, try to get some sleep, and I'll see you in the morning. Okay, thank you, Sarah said as she settled back into her bed and closed her eyes. She fell asleep pretty quickly, and it immediately was transported back to what looked like to be right outside that alleyway again. But at least this time, she was telling herself, she's like, okay, so I kind of know where I am because I know I've been here before. But I don't know what's going on. She tried to peek around the corner again, and she heard the blah, blah, blah. 3 pieces of the wall next to her hit the ground again. Oh my God, she said. She took off running again. Blah, blah, blah. Oh! Next thing you know, she was face first on the ground again. But this time, she definitely realized that she wasn't waking up back in the hospital room again, but instead she was laying on the ground, and she was seeing a little bit of a pool of blood appear next to where she was laying, not far from the side of her head. She felt the back of her head and felt a little bit of a jolt of pain as she felt the back of her head and felt where she had gotten hit in the head when she was bleeding pretty bad. Stumbled her way up to her feet and took off running again. She found a little area with a couple of good hiding spots. There were some trees, there was a large military vehicle that was parked nearby, and another little building looked like a little shed. So as she stopped for a second, she was looking at all 3 of these locations, wondering where she should hide. She decided to hide behind the shed, and as she was running over there, she was hearing pretty loud thuds behind her, as if something was running towards her. No sooner had she got behind the shed, and all of a sudden, a figure came into view where she was just standing. As she could see it from the shed, this figure looked to be about 7 foot tall, was surrounded by a blue light, had neon red glowing eyes, and sharp teeth that she could see. And just the sight of it made her shiver. Because what the fuck is that? She literally had to cover her mouth because she almost said it out loud. But even though she didn't say it out loud, she immediately noticed that this figure went from looking the other direction to looking right at where she was hiding. Instantly, she felt her heart skip a beat because she was instantly terrified that this creature, whatever it was, had heard her, even though she didn't say that she caught herself before she said it. And so she was really, really worried that it was going to start coming over her direction. She almost screamed when the creature took 2 steps towards her, but she covered her mouth again and forced herself to keep herself quiet. So, to her surprise, after taking 2 steps towards her, it stopped, looked back behind it again, in direction of one of the other hiding spots, the area with the trees, and it turned and walked that direction. She took off running, and as she got 15 steps away, trying to be as quiet as possible, but as she ran, she ended up kicking a large rock, and as it skipped across the pavement, making a loud thud 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 psh, pop pop pop. All of a sudden, she heard a very loud, very unhuman type scream behind her in the direction of where the being was. Holy shit! Sarah said as she got goosebumps and she felt all her hair on her arms stand on end, and she immediately could hear what sounded like footsteps coming towards her as if something was running towards her. Panicking all of a sudden, she continued to run, running and finding another area that had some trees, and she ran into the trees and she hid behind one of them. And as she stood there peering out from behind the trees, she saw this figure running right towards her, but veer off a little bit as if it thought she had moved. And as it ran past her through the trees, it screamed again in this most blood-curdling scream. Again, the hair at her arms just stood up on end, and she had to cover her mouth to keep from screaming herself because she could instantly not breathe because of how terrified she was. As it ran past her, the light illuminated the area around the trees and continued to basically just follow it as it ran and disappeared through the trees. The thing she noticed most that really stood out, though, was as it ran, it didn't look like it was touching the ground. It looked like it was hovering, and she couldn't understand how that was possible. She started to try to make her way out, and she heard a whisper in her ear, almost as if somebody was right next to her. Stockhaven! What? She stopped. She looks around, looking behind her. Nobody's behind her. She ends up realizing that she's spinning circles, looking in one direction, looking in a different direction, looking back in the same direction. Nobody's there. What did it say? Snockenheim? Snocken? Something? She's thinking to herself. I don't know, man. My mind is totally like screwed with me tonight in the street. Like, what the heck? She starts walking in. Stockhaven. She heard a whisper, kind of a growl whisper. But she, this time she stopped. She thought about it. She said, "Which direction did that come from? And why am I hearing some weird name? Stockhaven. What the fuck?" She thought. This time she's like, this time she's spinning around in circles and looking every different direction, thinking that she's totally hearing something, but she cannot quite figure out what it's saying. "Hello?" she said. "Is anybody there? Hello?" By this point, she could feel her heart racing in her chest. She could feel herself starting to hyperventilate. What is this? Why is this thing, this whatever it is in my head, like, what is saying this? She's thinking to herself, why me? Like, what's going on? Close her eyes. Please wake up. Please wake up. Please wake up. Stockhaven. What shit? Suddenly she's like laying on the ground. She took a few steps back, backpedaling, and tripped over her own feet and fell on her back. she's looking around and stuff, not seeing anything near her, and just by this point, feel like she's terrified to the point she feels like she's like if she gets any scared, she's gonna pee her pants. She's laid there for a minute, just kind of like trying to tell herself to breathe, trying to tell herself it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Just you got this. You got this. Just And she suddenly realized she was surprised when in the dream she was saying to herself, "You got this, Sarah. You got this. Just calm down. Just calm down." She's like, "Wait, okay, so my name is Sarah." She thought to herself, because I don't remember that, but now I feel like this dream. I feel like my name is Sarah, and it's always been Sarah, and that's really weird because she shook her head. She started to work her to get up to her feet. She's like, "Hey, man, what the shit?" Just takes off running, and as she runs, she looks back behind her again and doesn't pay attention, and all of a sudden wakes up on the ground a couple minutes later, rubbing her forehead. She's like, "What the hell? What happened?" She said to herself. Apparently, she realized that when she was running, she wasn't paying attention, and she had run headfirst into a tree and knocked herself out for a few minutes. Okay, what? Okay, what's going on? I need to get out of here. All of a sudden, very faintly, she said, "Do you not hear what I'm telling you?" "What? Who said that?" She said. "It was me." "Ooh, who's me? You're freaking me the hell out, whoever you are." "You need to use the code word, the code phrase. That's the only way to get them to go away." "Get who to go away?" Sarah said. "Oh, the beings." "What beings?" The beings in blue and green. You need to use the code phrase to get rid of them." "What?" Sarah all of a sudden saw a flash of a red light that appeared in the distance in the wooded area. Only it looked like it was rapidly approaching where she was. Realizing that it would be where she was in the next 5 or 10 seconds, she got up, screamed, "Ah!" and took off running as fast as her legs could carry her. Before she knew it, she heard a cluck. Feeling a sharp pain in her head, she felt herself lose all feeling in her body. It was almost like she was floating, but then she felt a lot of pain all over her body. Ah! All of a sudden, sitting up in her hospital bed, looking around, tears streaming down her face, hyperventilating, heart racing. Nurse came running in. What's going on? Are you okay?" "What? Okay. Sarah, just relax. What's? It was just a dream. Are you okay?" "No, Sarah couldn't get a clear word. Couldn't get out a clear word. Oh my God. Hey, I need some help in here." The nurse hollered back. A couple other nurses came in. At this point, Sarah is flailing around in the bed, trying to get out of bed, trying to pull out her IVs, screaming and not making any sense. And one of the nurses, like, we need another dose. We need to give more of a sedative. Please hurry up. Two nurses were holding her down as one administered a drug into Sarah's IV. Next thing you know, Sarah's eyes fluttered and her entire body went limp, and she drifted back off into sleep. the nurse said as she sighed, let go of her arm. What the heck was that about? One of the nurses said. I don't know. Like, wait a minute, hold on, like, hold on, hey, look at this. They said they moved her head a little bit. Like, there's fresh blood on her pillow. It's like, did her head wound reopen or whatever? They turned her head to the side, felt like, man, these stitches are, like, they're no longer, they're here, but she's popped them. Like, how do you pop stitches in the back of your head? Like, she's laying in bed. One nurse, that's weird. I don't know. Hold on, let's get her stitched up again real quick here. Let's get her a new pillow. You know, let's just make her comfortable because obviously I don't know what's going on here and stuff. Obviously, like she's undergone some serious trauma, and we, you know, not sure exactly what's gonna happen. But so the next morning, the agents knocked on the door. Sarah said as she kind of like her eyes open. What? Ma'am, this is Agent H and Agent J, can we come in, please? Oh, yeah, come on in, Sarah said. As they came in and closed the door, they came over to go like, Sarah, please don't be offended. Agent H said, what do you mean? Sarah said, well, you look like crap. Are you okay? Agent J said. No, I don't know. Man, I'm so confused. I had another dream last night. Oh, okay, Agent J, want to tell us about it? Well, it was kind of like what I told you before, where like I saw the bright light. I was near that alleyway, and when I tried to run, this time I actually got hit twice because like I took out like something hit the wall and a bunch of pieces of the wall hit the ground. I took off running, and then I heard what sounded like a boom again, and then I got hit. And I went down, and then I happened to then something flew past me like before, and I took off running a little ways, and I saw there were a couple places to hide. There was like a little wooded area. There was like a shed and something else, and then I heard what sounded like footsteps coming from the direction of the alleyway, but it was coming in my direction, and I ran behind the shed and I hid. Okay, what'd you see, Agent Jason? Well, it's really weird. Like my head. Can you guys get me a glass of water? Sure, Agent J. Can you grab her some water? Of course. Said, leaving the room. Came back in and handed a cup to her. Thank you. I'm just, man. So, what happened next, Agent Jason? Well, this, is a creature covered in like blue light, or I can't remember. Was it red lights? I think I'm getting all my details mixed up. Like I think for some reason I remember something being covered in red light, but I also remember something covered in blue light. But then other stuff happened, and it's like, oh my god. She said that she just like closed her eyes and like head fell to the side. She's like, Agent H put his hand on her shoulder. Sarah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Just tell us what you can remember. Nothing. Just leave nothing out. Just don't worry about how weird it sounds or whatever. Just tell us everything. Okay. Well. Like this being took a couple steps towards me as if it, like, cause I thought something. And it's almost like it heard me think something. Huh? Agent H said, what are you talking about? Well, I didn't say anything, but as soon as I had a thought, all of a sudden its head jerked my direction as if it heard me, as if it was looking right at me. And then it started to walk my direction, but after it took a few steps, and all of a sudden its head jerked towards the wooded area. And there were woods a little bit behind the shed too, but this is a different wooded area. But it looked over that direction and instead started walking that way. and I took off running, hid behind a tree, and next thing I know, it's like this thing was like running or something. It ran past me. 'Cause I just saw this blue glow just fly past me and partially disappear off in the distance in the woods. And I started hearing a voice. What kind of voice? Agent J said. It was saying a phrase or a word or something, but I didn't make any sense. Like, okay, well, what, like that? What, that might be something helpful. Like, what did it say? Agent H said. It said, I didn't even like Snaggin, Snuggenheimen, Sugar. I don't even know. Like, it was weird. It repeated a couple times, but it wasn't a normal voice. It was kind of like a weird growl. It was like, and it was like every time I heard it, I just sobbed because I was so terrified. I just don't know. Ma'am, calm down. It's okay. Just you're safe. We got you. You're safe in the hospital. Nothing's gonna get to you. Whatever. I know. And ma'am, it's just okay. So what, Sarah? What happened next? Like I said, it kept repeating this word, in my ear or whatever. And every time when I didn't understand it, I was kept like, what? And it got angrier. It just felt like, I can't tell you it was an actual voice, but from what, like, the way it was saying the phrase or whatever, it kept saying it with more aggression and like almost like it was angered because I didn't understand what it was saying. And then like towards the, like, literally before long, when it growled in my ear, repeated the word, and then had a little phrase after. It's basically just growled in my ear, Snuggenheimen, or whatever. I don't even know exactly if that's what it was, saying. But then it growled, you have to, or you need this to get rid of them. And other than that, I freaked, I screamed, I got up, I jumped to my feet, took off running, and then I heard one of those loud booms. I felt something hit me in the back of the head, and I fell. I fell, and I don't know exactly what happened after that because I fell, and it's almost like I felt my body flip end over end, and then even when I thought I had come to a stop, then I still felt it, like things hit me over and over again. But oh man, my head really hurts today. Like, did that really happen? Well, I don't think so. I think it was just a dream, one agent said. Nurse peeked in. Agent, can I talk to you for a second? Sure, Agent J said. Hold on, I'll be right back, partner. Okay. Agent J went out, closed the door. Yeah, what's going on? Okay, so I've kind of been overhearing what you guys are talking about. I think you should know, the nurse said. Like, this is really weird. I don't even know what to think about it. Okay, Agent J said. Like, what do you, like, just spill it. Like, what's going on? Well, her head wound was reopened this morning. What do you mean, Agent J said? Well, she, like, her head was literally stitched up with heavy-duty sutures. Like, nothing should have opened that up. And when we checked on her, she had a lot of blood on her pillow. And when we checked the back of her head, like, the sutures were no longer closed up. Like, the whole wound was wide open, so we had to suture her up again. Do you think this? Do you really think this might have happened to her in a dream? The agent's like, no, not necessarily, but I'm not ruling anything out at the moment. It's just we really need to get to the bottom of this. And I don't know, nurse. I don't know. But honestly, even if I did know, there's not really much I can tell you at the moment because it's kind of a government operation that we're trying. This is like a mission. We're trying to figure some stuff out. So, okay, so I'm gonna have to go back in, but Um, if there's anything else that you could maybe she did or whatever, or she said that you could remember any detail would help us out greatly, nurse. It's like, okay, the nurse said, thank you. Agent J came back in. All right, so where were we? What the nurse want? Agent J, or Agent H said. Oh, she actually said some interesting stuff, like Sarah, you said you got in your dream you got hit in the head again, correct? Uh, yeah, I did. Why? Agent, well, Agent J said the nurse just told me that she kind of overheard what we're talking about, and she said that when they came to check on you when you first woke up from your sleep and you were screaming and whatever, they had to literally hold you back down and administer kind of a sedative to kind of calm you down. They said that your head wound had reopened and like you were bleeding all over your pillow. But they said that your head wound that was sutured up in a way that should not have happened. What? Oh man, maybe that's why my head hurts. My sutures reopened. Maybe. But it's like, why were they reopened though? Like, I don't understand that part. That's kind of weird. I don't know. Okay, so let's move on. All right, so Agent H put her hand on her shoulder. So what you said there's a phrase like Schnugaheimen or whatever, and they said that was the only way to get rid of them. Did they talk about it? Did you know what them it was referring to? It's like, well, I'm assuming the glowing figures that were fighting or whatever that I got in the middle of, Sarah said. Okay, so I wonder. So that we have a friend that is actually waiting out in our car. She's a medium, and she actually usually specializes in odd cases. Do you mind if we bring her in? No, not at all, Sarah said. All right, she's got her phone. Agent H got his phone out and dial number. Yep, go ahead, come on in. We're in hospital room 185. See you soon. Click. A couple minutes later, a door opened. Hey, this is Jasmine. Jasmine, this is Sarah. Sarah, this is Jasmine. She's the medium we were talking about. Nice to meet you, Jasmine. Sarah said. Nice to meet you too, Sarah. Jasmine said. So I hear that you've had some weird dreams and some weird stuff's happened. Do you mind if I? And she said that she reached over for Sarah's hand. Sure, Sarah said. I'm a little scared though. Jasmine just kind of chuckled. Don't worry. Like this is not gonna hurt. I need to have physical contact with you in order for me to see anything, so to speak, or to feel anything or get any answers. Okay, Sarah said, taking her hand. All of a sudden, Jasmine's eyes went into the back of her head. All of a sudden, all I could see was the whites of her eyes. Okay. The Agent H was like, what are you seeing? Seeing figures covered in red and green. I'm seeing like they're firing things at each other. I see a figure that looks kind of like Sarah, but it just looks like a female figure holding up a talisman. Looks like something like a necklace of some kind that looks like it could be like, it almost looks like they're holding up a necklace that has like an image of Thor's hammer. Thor's in like the Greek god. You know, one of the agents said. Yeah. Okay. And then holding up the little talisman or whatever, and saying some kind of word that I'm not hearing anything. I'm just seeing stuff, but yelling something. It takes a few seconds for this person to yell, and then all of a sudden there's a bright flash of light, and these figures are gone. And then all of a sudden there's a little bit of a flash in Jasmine's eyes, and all of a sudden her eyes were back to normal, and she was looking at him. She goes, "That was weird. I don't think I've ever experienced that, kind of, I felt like an out of body experience. But does that help at all? Agent H is kind of like playing with his goatee with his hand. He said. What are you thinking? Agent J said. I'm kind of thinking like you remember how we said that there are things that dealt with before, that we had heard, that these people, random people that would have these random code phrases or words that they would say, and so far we've only heard legends about them, but none of them we've never actually come across them. Agent J said. Well, I'm thinking that word or phrase that Sarah was whispered or growled at or whatever, I think that's what she needs to say. But what about the talisman thing? She doesn't have anything. Sarah looked away for a second and felt on the right side of her leg where she was actually apparently wearing some sweatpants that she was like, as she thought to herself, when did I get in sweatpants? Because last she knew she was just in a hospital gown, but for some reason she was laying in the hospital gown, but was also wearing sweatpants. The sweatpants had a pocket. She said again, as she was just constantly she's so confused. And Agent H, of course, looked over at her and realized that something was up. He's like, what's going on? What's wrong? And she's like, well, was I wearing these? Have I been wearing these sweatpants the whole time I've been here? And one day just kind of peeled the hospital blanket away a little bit and kind of looked like, I don't know. Nurse came in. Yeah, what's up? Has she been wearing these sweatpants since she came in? The nurse took a look like, how did you get? Yeah, those are hers, but we took basically all her clothes off her and put her in the hospital gown, so I don't know how she's back in that. Sarah, did you get out of bed? Sarah's like, no, I've been laying in bed this whole time. I don't even know how. I remember when I woke up the other day, I didn't have them on, but somehow today I do. I don't understand. Okay, and Sarah felt the side pocket. She was, wait a minute, wait, this is weird, guys. And she reached in her pocket, and she felt that she had something in there. And she pulled out a little figurine that had a lanyard attached to it. And as soon as when she pulled it out of her pocket, she looked at it. Her eyes went big, and she almost fainted again. And Agent A said, what is it? Agent, it's a hammer? Really? That's not, literally we're just talking about it, and all of a sudden you have one on you? Sarah's like, I've never seen this before in my life. I don't know where it came from. Huh, okay. So, they, agents kind of looked at each other for a few minutes, and then say, well, Sarah, I think, well, as soon as you're ready to get out of here, I think the next time that you see that light, next time, it might be when you're asleep, because we haven't heard of things happening too much to people who are awake or whatever. It seems to be it happens, but nobody sees it. We just, we hear about it. It's kind of weird. So, let us know if you dream it again. Hold on to that hammer and hold it up, at the beings or whatever, and just say that phrase and see what happens. Okay, so they left, and then we'll be back tomorrow. And that night, Sarah fell asleep and immediately woke up not far from that alleyway again with the where she heard a boom, saw a bright flash of blue lights. And this time she turned down the alleyway, started walking up towards the blue and red light surrounding these random figures. And as they saw her coming towards them, they appeared to basically take off running towards her. Sarah, panicking at first, forgot what she was supposed to do for a second, and instead wanted to run, but then suddenly it dawned on her what she was there to do. She pulled the little hammer figurine out from her pocket, held it by the lanyard, and held it up, and with a trembling voice, she took a deep breath. Sniper! As she screamed it, these figures were only 3 feet away from her, but there was all of a sudden a big, odd explosion type sound. And all of a sudden, red and blue lights surrounded her as if she was being passed by a massive storm. Next thing she knew, everything around her was completely quiet. All the fancy colors were gone. And she walked around for a little bit, even walking to where the shed and the other wooded areas were, kind of just looking around, wondering if, was that it? Like, that couldn't have been that easy. And then asking herself, well, if I've done what I need to do, then why haven't I woken up? Like, what's going on? Well done, she heard to the back of her head. Ah! Who? What? Well done, she heard. Who are you? I'm the Guardian. What? Guardian of what? You could say the Guardian of mankind. I've been watching you, Sarah. I've been watching all of you. But up till this point, you were the only one that was able to pull it off. Pull what off? Sarah said, still freaking out because she had no idea where this voice was coming from. She felt like it was coming from inside her head because she literally looked around and not see anything. Silence, the voice said. Sarah immediately shut up. Now, when you wake up, you're still gonna have that figurine in your hand. What I need you to do, I need you to put that in a safe place when you get home. Someplace that nobody else knows where it is. You may have sent them back for now, but they're persistent. They will probably be back, and you need to be ready. Well, how will I know when they're going to come back? Silence! Ah, she said. Listen, I will answer your question after. But you need to keep that in a safe place, so that when they come back, you will have a way to send them back again. If they are not challenged, all of mankind is at risk. These beings do not care what damage they inflict, who they make suffer. You cannot let that happen. You are one of the chosen. Why am I chosen? Silence. Okay, I'm sorry, Sarah said. You are one of the chosen. There are others that are still around that have not experienced it. And there are others who have attempted to try to send them back, but failed because they didn't know what power they had. I'm proud of you, Sarah. You did well. Now, till we meet again. Wake up. But I said wake up. All of a sudden, she's sitting up in bed in the hospital bed. Nurses came running in. Oh my God, what? Are you okay? Sarah, not freaking out as much as she was last time. Just breathing very heavily, and looked down at her hand and realized she was holding the hammer. They gave her some pain meds and a sedative to help her sleep, which put her back to sleep. The next day, the agents came in there, and Agent H walked over to the bedside. Hey, Sarah, so did something happen last night? What do you mean? Sarah said. Well, like the weird happenings that were going on that we've been hearing about, all of a sudden we've heard that they've stopped. It just seems so sudden because like we've heard of these weird things happening, but we've not been able to really confirm it or confirm why, like what made them stop. So what happened? Sarah's like, I think they're gone. What? Agent H said. What do you mean they're gone? Like what? Like something happened? Well, yeah. In my dream, I had the hammer on me, and I saw the alleyway again, and only this time, even though those projectiles or whatever it was hit the wall again, and the concrete fell at my feet, I held up the hammer and I yelled that phrase I told you about, like Snugaheimen or whatever. And then there was a bright flash. I was surrounded with light, and all of a sudden they were all gone. Oh, wow, the agent said. Okay, so what happened afterwards? Well, Sarah said, I kind of, I went off to where the shed was, where the other wooded area was, and then I heard that first voice that was telling me that phrase. All of a sudden it was saying, well done, but in a very growly type. It's like, well done. And it was like, that's really weird. But the agents kind of looked at each other like, wow, that is kind of creepy. Like, well done, but in a growling voice. Like, yeah, that's what it said, Sarah said. And it told me I need to keep this talisman or whatever. That I need to keep it hidden somewhere safe because I've sent them back for now, but that they'll be back. Really? So they say like what do they want here? What's going on? And Sarah's like, I don't know. It's just like this voice told me that there are others like me that haven't experienced this yet, haven't been a part of the fight yet, and there are others like me that were but are no longer around because they got killed or something, or they just disappeared. And so, okay, well, Sarah, we really appreciate your help, and sounds like this case might be closed for now, but obviously, like, here's our card. Agent 8 said, handing her a business card. If anything else happens, or if things start to happen again, we will be in touch. Okay, well, I hope Sarah kind of laughed. Well, Agent, to be honest with you, and no offense, but I really hope to never see you again. Well, yeah, I understand that, Agent 8 said. So we'll obviously we'll try not to have to see you again, but obviously just be prepared if stuff happens again. Then we'll probably be back. And of all the stories that we've heard of similar things happening, you're the only person that we were actually able to interview that actually, was able to do something about it. Everyone else, we interview them and then they just disappear from the hospital beds. Whenever we're talking to them, we'd come back and like the nurses would be like, they basically were just gone. Like they were just no longer there. and they were never seen or heard from again. And so that's kind of weird, but we're just really happy that's not what happened here. So take care of yourself, Sarah. Like, well, just give us a call if you need us. Okay, agents, thank you. So a couple of days later, Sarah got out of the hospital and went home, trying to feel like she could make some sense of whatever happened. She still was confused. She still had no idea exactly what to make of it. She felt like it was all a bad dream. So after getting home, she got a journal so she could write down her random dreams, write down her thoughts, and try to just piece back together and make her feel like she had some sense of a normal life. And even though things seemed to be going back to normal for the most part, she always felt like she was waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like something was going to happen. It was just a matter of when, and would she be ready to face it, whatever it did. But she told herself that she absolutely had no choice, that she would always be there to defend everybody and to be there to try to send these creatures or these beings back where they came from and try to keep everyone safe. From that moment on, she accepted that she was, in a way, a guardian, a protector. That in some way, for some reason, that she'd never be able to fully understand. She was chosen by what or whom she had no idea, but chosen nonetheless. Chosen to protect and to keep people safe from whatever these creatures were. And hopefully someday, the agents, hopefully they would know what these creatures truly were and what their purpose was, why they were there in the first place. But for now, everybody was safe. Nobody was in danger anymore. Sarah had saved them. And Sarah, despite all her fears that she had of what they were and why, she didn't understand anything that had happened, she would be ready to defend them again. The end. Welcome back, guys. I definitely, I am, I am working on it as far as these freestyle storytime episodes. It's tough. It's it's one of those, like, especially like being tired. I'm not gonna lie, I kept yawning, trying to do it as quietly as I could. The random, like, mid-sentence yawn where all of a sudden you stop, you're like, but I was trying to be, like, really quiet about it, didn't want it to be obvious while telling the story. But and I'm curious, when I listen back to this, I'm hoping that I'm like, oh my god, that was actually not bad. I felt pretty good about it, especially like as we got towards the end and stuff, kind of closed it out a little bit, kind of made it, maybe not the greatest story, but I thought it was pretty good, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any comments or compliments or whatever, if you want to share any other future story ideas, or like I always say, if any ideas for a topic for Real Talk Tuesdays and stuff, definitely give me a shout. blodgetshowpodcast@gmail.com. As always, guys, anybody who wants to support the show, the easiest way to support the Blodget Show, especially if you like what you hear, I understand it's not perfect, because, like, I'm still working on. I'm definitely grateful for where I am today with this podcast compared to where I was when I started. Because when I started, I had no clue what the heck I was going to do. No idea what I was going to talk about. No idea what kind of podcast this was going to be. And I didn't even know like where it was going to head. Like Storytime Friday and Real Talk Tuesdays and stuff, that kind of developed. Because I was like, hey, I should start writing stories for to talk about, to tell the stories or whatever I do. So I like the direction the podcast has gone, and I look forward to seeing, where I can continue to take it. Like I like to keep working on the side biz or whatever, and possibly give myself eventually the option of not having to work quite as hard and have more free time. And that way it would free up time for me to be able to sit down and actually write a story and whatever. So I do enjoy it better when I'm able to write a story out and then I can read it for the podcast and stuff for Storytime Friday, because it's a lot easier to basically just have everything in front of me and go. But sometimes finding time to sit down and write has been a little bit of a challenge. So lately I've been trying to see if I can randomly just be creative and try to use my storytelling skills and try to come up with a story off the top of my head for you and stuff. So anyway, I hope everybody has had a wonderful week, a wonderful day, up to the point whenever you might be listening to this episode. And as always, of course, like I mentioned, like one great way to support the show is to like and follow, tell your friends. Another way to support the show, if you want to do a monetary contribution, go to blodgettshow.com/support, or go to blodgettshow.com, click the drop-down menu, click on the support link. It'll reroute you to our Patreon site where you can do a one-time donation, or you can do a monthly contribution for as little as $1 per month. I do want to throw it out there that eventually I will be adding things like merch, like merchandise and stuff, like probably mugs, maybe mugs, keychain, at least mugs to start out with, and then like keychains or something simple stuff, but then I'll have the Blodgett Show logo on it, and then I can, basically be, that'll be stuff for sale, as well as like people that donate up to a certain amount can get like a free item, like a free mug or something. That's some of the plans that I have in the works that I'm going to be eventually implementing with this podcast. I want to throw it out there too, and hopefully he listens, so he'll hear my shout out. But I want to give a shout out to one of my high school friends, good old Harold. Reached out in Messenger, and reached back out. We got on a phone call. Basically, we're talking for must have been like an hour and a half. Just to shoot the shit or whatever. It's pretty cool to be able to chat with him. And he was telling me about him and his him and his fiance. I guess they do a little business. They do for like a farmer's market, where they do they make their own powder for their own hot chocolate mix and their own cappuccino mix. So basically I told him, I was like, well, hell, I was like, if you guys could find out how much it would cost to ship, I was like, because I asked him, I said, how much per jar do you guys usually charge? And I think he said they usually charge around like $5 a jar. But apparently it's a big jar, has a lot in it, and then you just basically, you mix the cappuccino mix or the hot chocolate mix with hot water, and basically you make your drink. The hot chocolate already has marshmallows in it or whatever. I was like, well, $5 a jar. I said, hell, I'll support you guys. I'll buy some from you and have, if you guys will ship it. I said, let me do 2 jars of each. And so sounds like within the next couple weeks, he and I should be touching base again, and I'll be forwarding him funds for the purchase, as well as funds to cover the shipping costs. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited, because I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm actually a huge fan of cappuccinos. I do it out here when I'm working late to kind of help me get that energy boost a little bit, help me focus, especially because I've been doing a lot of these late nights and stuff. So, but if anybody else out there, if you're listening to this and you actually, it's something that you want to do as well, like you love to support a small business or whatever, and actually get some homemade cappuccino mix or some homemade hot chocolate mix, like I said earlier, message me on the Blodgett Show email, the Blodgett Show podcast at gmail.com, and I will direct you. I'll probably get his email, eventually, and maybe I can direct your contact info to him, so he can reach out to you and make arrangements for you guys to finalize your purchase or whatever, to actually try some of what he's made. 'Cause it's like, I thought about, normally I'm not like random products like that. I usually might not order for delivery because I can just go to the store and get hot chocolate, or go to the store and get a cappuccino. But being that he's a friend, somebody that I was actually pretty close with in high school, and we've chatted ever so often, messages back and forth on Messenger over the years, but this is the first time we actually were on the phone talking, and it was pretty cool to talk to him. I was happy it was nice to shoot the shit with a friend from high school and stuff. It was good. I was happy to hear that he was engaged and all that stuff. Like, I'm just happy for him and stuff. But if that's something that you guys like, because I'm definitely gonna do it. I did 2 jars of the cappuccino mix, 2 jars of the hot chocolate mix, mainly because cappuccino for me and the hot chocolate for the wife and the kids, because they're all about the hot chocolate at home. So anyway, threw that out there. Figured, let me know, and I will figure out a way to get you guys in touch with him, so that way you guys could place an order and not only get some really good cappuccino mix or hot chocolate mix, but support a small business. It's always important, to support the little guys and stuff. But aside from that, if you go to blodgettshow.com/promotions, you'll see a couple promotional links as far as like new checking and savings link, getting a bonus for that, new investment accounts link, and get a bonus for that. There's a link for a copy and paste ads business. It's like $100 to join plus $29 fee. That one, literally, it's like you just basically, once you get your back office, it's just these ads that you copy and paste or whatever. But the fourth link, that is the current business that I told you guys about on the bonus episodes within the past couple days. That's the one that's basically called the Legacy Builder, and the lowest product level to start with is $100. The highest one is where I came in, which is the 900. That one you get all 4 products. It teaches anybody, whether you're a newbie or you're experienced at basically doing business online. It teaches everybody step by step how to, the things they have to do. And to kind of throw it out there, like I've been seeing, like I've been doing what they want me to do, and I made 1,000 my first week. And today I was looking at my Facebook account because I've been doing videos every day, doing what I gotta do. I had a little pop-up alert for Facebook saying that basically I was basically shown as a quote rising creator, and then I had another alert that showed that I had 3,000 interactions on my post for the week. And I was like, damn, all right, cool, I've noticed quite a few of my videos where I look and it says a couple of them were 200 likes, 1 or 2 was 130 likes. I'm like, wow, okay, but definitely noticing that things are picking up, things are working. That my videos when I first started them for the first week really weren't getting a whole lot of views, and then lately quite a few of my videos I've hit 70, 80, 200, something like that views. I'm like, holy crap. So I'm just working the program the way that just been going through, doing what I gotta do, which is kind of, it's fun, it's not hard at all. It's easy work. That's why they call it the 2-hour work day. But put in your 2 hours of work and follow the steps and the process that they guide you through step by step, and then start to see results happen with your different platforms and with your business page, with being able to get 100% of the sales. So anyway, guys, on that note, I hope everybody has a great weekend, and I hope you enjoyed this story, and I look forward to basically listening to it myself, to be able to see how I did. You know what they say. You are your own worst critic. So, on that note, keep being positive, keep believing, keep pushing forward. Believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there. You just have to go out there and do it. And just believe in yourself, guys, because we got this. Even if it's one day at a time, 1 week at a time, we just gotta keep pushing forward and keep trying. Because we only fail if we quit. We only fail if we quit, give up, and walk away. So as long as we don't give up and walk away, and we keep getting back up and trying again, we haven't failed. So on that note, I appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys next week on Tuesday when we have the next Real Talk Tuesday episode. Have a good one.